Hey, Dr. Karen here, and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest for the week of January 27th, 2025. And our theme, Illumination Revelation. This week we are talking about the physical realm. Now, each week we talk about either the physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual, or dimensional realms. And this week we are doing physical. Probably some of you are like, at last! I thought you were going to do it in order, Dr. Karen. I'm like, no, Source just does it whatever order Source wants it. So this week we are talking about physical toxins. But before we get into the topic, would love for you, if you are desiring to create heaven on earth with me together, if you're a sense of soul and you would like more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, perhaps a notification bell, so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. And if you like the video, love if you would give it a thumbs up and perhaps share it with someone that would love this kind of stuff too. So our topic is toxins, and we will be doing a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation to help you with that. So we have toxins abounding in our reality, if you will, our 3D reality. So we have physical toxins like toxins in our air, in our water, in our food, in healthcare products, beauty products, hair products, medications even. Did I miss something? Oh, yes, cleaning, painting, building, varnishing. I mean, there's all sorts of toxins. And yes, I know some of you are going to be like, how about the energy toxins? How about EMF? How about 5G? Yeah, that too. So this is still relevant to that, even though that's energy and we're talking about physical toxins. But at the end of the day, even physical stuff is made of energy, right? You know that, right? Okay, so let's stick with our topic. So we have these toxins, and it can seem like it's overwhelming. On the one hand, we're like, well, our bodies normally detoxify itself, right? So I like talking about my mom a lot because her and I, we get along really well in general. She is so helpful to me because she really asks me in difficult questions sometimes, and she is the most complex patient. Not that she's my patient, but she, baffles the doctors oftentimes, and then I'm left going, let me figure this out, right? So she's great for me to figure stuff out. So she's like, oh, why are you into this, and this, and this, detoxify this and that? She's like, if you get too clean, then you can't stand anything. You should, not try to wipe down everything and be too clean. And she's got a point, because children of the Amish or the farmers, and you know what I mean, especially if they're not using pesticides, are healthier than children in a sanitized first world situation where they're living, with a water filter and Clorox, cleaning all their counters, toxins. You know what I mean? So she's got a point. Children that play in the dirt are generally healthier than children that do not. Okay, so rural versus city, right? And she's like, so what? If there's toxins in my hair care, so what if there's toxins in the food, whatever, the body will get used to it. And I thought about this. And the body will detoxify itself, absolutely. It's part of its natural healing process. However, the speed at which we are introducing toxins into the body is faster in general than the body can handle it, because there are other stressors that make the organs, glands, cells, and systems in our physical body less than efficient. It's like being bogged down. Like if you're like, I don't know, like a Ferrari, like you're a race car, right? But someone insists on packing it full of stuff, and you've got like, a family of 5 camper stuff like strapped to the top of your Ferrari. Do you think it's going to be running as efficiently? And of course, what if you don't put Ferrari type premium fuel in that car and you put in, I don't know, regular unleaded, right? I don't have a Ferrari, so I don't know what you put in it. But anyway, I'm assuming that you put in premium fuel. So That's like us eating, crap. It's just not going to run as well. Of course, the downside of a Ferrari is it doesn't really heal itself. The body does heal itself, but the quickness, the degree to which we are introducing new toxins, like hundreds of new chemicals are introduced in the United States per year that do not have to show safety. Yes, that is true. It does not have to show safety. It's only when there's a problem that it does get taken off the shelf, right? But you don't have to prove it's safe to introduce it, which is kind of weird, you would think. But it's all about the you know what. So the rate at which we have, over the pandemic, right, introduced 5G, supposedly tens of thousands of satellites, got launched during a time where apparently people were supposed to be staying home, supposedly. I don't know. I'm not in the sky looking at them. Anyway, so yeah, if we're introducing new electromagnetic frequencies as a type of quote unquote toxin, it's not that the body can't return to homeostasis with it, but it just makes it a lot harder and less efficient when we keep bombarding it with new stuff all the time. So we're behind the game, if you will. So one thing that can be done is, even though we think that, oh, this is so dark, these toxins, right? Is, like I said, every toxin is actually a frequency of energy. And you can actually delete the frequency. If it is for your highest frequency good source allows, you can cancel out, if you will, a negative frequency. Now, that being said, if it's decided from your soul that you keep doing things that are bad for you, right? You may or may not be allowed to rescue yourself, just because you can continue doing this bad habit, so-called bad habit over here. So, that being said, on the quantum level, these things can be erased, these toxins. And I have found in practice, doing healing sessions for thousands of people, thousands of sessions, and having been a doctor and seeing in clinical practice when I was in physical, clinical practice in an office, the huge difference it makes to work on the energetic level, even if we're dealing with physical toxins. I'll give you an example. So I had a couple of sets of patients when I was an acupuncturist, holistic MD in the office. They all had so-called Lyme disease, right? So, at the time, I was like, I better send them to an expert. And they all wanted holistic stuff. Otherwise, it wouldn't be seeing me as an acupuncturist, right? And holistic MD. So I said, look, I'm not a specialist in Lyme. So here is someone, in a bigger city. They deal with Lyme day in and day out. They're the experts. You may want to address things with them. So half of them went to the specialist and spent thousands of dollars on, different kinds of tests, ports, IVs, all that. They had an incredible team. Okay. The other group of people diagnosed or we felt had Lyme, right, said, I can't afford it. I can't take time off work. I'm not driving 2 hours, to see these people, right? It's just not going to happen. Is there something you can do with your energy healing? I was like, well, we'll do the best we can. We'll do the best we can, just so you know that these guys are the experts, right? But we'll do the best we can. So I'm working on the people over here. These people were referred out. So the people over here were seeing me on a regular basis every 2 weeks or so, something like that. And so we would tune in with them to source, to the 0 point field, and just check in to see which organisms or toxins they had in their body, how much was left, how much was healed, etc., etc., etc. And we just documented over the weeks, lessening, right? They got better and better and better and better. So when I checked in with the other group that was seeing the specialist, they were not faring as well as quickly as the group that was getting the energy work. And that really taught me something like, wow, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just like, wow, that was really expensive and not as effective, seemingly. I think that's in my personal experience, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I think both would be ideal, right? If it resonates with you, like you have to use your own guidance on that. So what we did was we canceled out the negative frequencies, if allowed by source, of those different elements that we found in the body, whether that be heavy metals or excess mold or fungi or whatever, right? Those frequencies, toxins, because a lot of the organisms, it's actually the toxins they produce that are hard on the body, not the organisms themselves, which in germ and terrain theory, you would think that, wow, maybe germs may or may not cause disease. I have to say that softly. That, that they could be actually helpful for the healing process, but we don't want them to go crazy either, right? So I'll get into that in a different video. So let's suppose that you can cancel, delete, dissolve, and uncreate these negative, so-called negative frequencies. Well, the opposite frequency would be a positive frequency. It's the canceling frequency. So if you have a wave that goes up like this and a wave that goes down like this, if the negative is, we'll pretend that's the wave, right? Going like this, down. If you cancel it, wow, see how I did that? Pretty cool, huh? It goes to zero. It's neutral. So that is like the yin and yang symbol. Imagine it in your mind, yin and yang symbol. And you see that so-called line between. It's actually not a line, but between the two yin and yang, that's where we're going, to neutral. We're not hating the toxin, right? We're not being mad at the toxin. We're just introducing an equal and opposite frequency because we choose to neutralize that to the degree that we are allowed and whatever our soul desires for this lifetime experience. So if you know or think or suspect that you have some toxins, whatever's ready to release at this moment, you can go ahead and make the intention for this TOLPAKAN Healing Activation for this week to delete, dissolve, and uncreate those frequencies. It really is an opposing frequency, to be honest, not really a deletion. But I mean, there are other ways. But this way, we're talking about the yang canceling the yin. And no one would ever say, like, oh my gosh, the yin is bad. No, it's just another frequency and a preference and a choice. And we choose in this particular lifetime to like to heal our bodies so our bodies feel better. Okay, so if you're ready for this activation, you can go ahead and rub your hands. This is for beginners going into stillness through observing internal movement. I'll give you a little free tutorial down below. Put a link. Relax. Close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Focus on the body. Feel any energy, movement, waves, tingles. Follow that flow wherever it goes. I'll speak the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive, and if you'd like to receive, just go ahead and make the intention yes. And you can do this. You don't have to do it with me. This is just how simple it really is. I now command that any and all frequencies that are not for the highest greatest good, in particular, what we would consider toxic frequencies, be deleted, dissolved, uncreated, in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with ease, speed, and grace. It's now commanded that the opposing frequency, if positive, be downloaded and activated, with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just take a breath in and out, open your eyes. That's it. That's it. You're like, man, that was easy. I know, right? Now, sometimes it is helpful to be specific. And then in our TOLPAKAN healing method, we teach you quality questions to ask to specifically, look for a particular toxin or infectious agent and whether that's hurting the body or, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things you can neutralize through the energetics so it no longer harms the body. So I know that was a lot in a very short time, and there's more to unpack, I am sure. But that's the little message for this week from Source, and I hope you join me again. I just love hearing your comments, reading them, so let me know what that activation felt like for you, and if you have any personal experience of deleting, dissolving, and uncreating any toxins and what your results were as well. All right, until next time, much love.
See
Thanks for watching this video. I hope it resonated with you. And if it did, would love for you to click like, subscribe, and perhaps even share it with someone you love and who could really use this message as well. And feel free to also click the notification bell so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. In the meantime, I would love to connect with you in my Light Medicine community. It's a private community where sensitive souls get together, we share stories, we love and support each other, and it's a beautiful, safe space. I absolutely love it. And remember, when you first come in to introduce yourself, I'll put the link below, as well as this week's amazing and exciting offerings and announcements. I'll see you in the community.